Hello, everyone. Today is the 17th and it's Tuesday. My name is Jordyn Smith and I am the voice and the astrologer behind Nonconformist Conscience. So usually I put these videos out on Wednesday, but I'm needing to prepare for a class that I'm doing this coming weekend. So today I'm going to put this video out, which is good. Means you have a couple more days, well, a day more than you normally would, especially since the new moon in Aquarius is happening on Saturday, the 21st. This is a really active new moon. It is sure to stir some people up. But there is so much growth that can come from this new moon that's going to happen. So this week in this video, I'm going to focus on the new moon, Mercury stationing direct, and Uranus stationing direct. So let's jump in, shall we? So on the 18th, tomorrow, Mercury is going to go direct today. He is stationing in the sign of Capricorn, where he has been retrograde for the past few weeks. This Mercury retrograde cycle has been all about needing to enact your own natural authority, to ask and answer the question of what is right and what is wrong for you, and to really follow your inner voice and commit to following that inner voice, commit to learning about following this inner voice, essentially. This Mercury retrograde has, brought up a lot of questions for people about what is right and what is wrong for them and how they go about the choice that needs to be made. And for most, it's a choice that they've never made before. So tomorrow, as it's, in direct motion, there will be epiphanies that can happen and clarification on exactly what it is that you've been asking yourself about. It will not be out of shadow until the first week of February 6th, I believe, whenever it's back at its original degree mark of Capricorn, 24 degrees, that it was whenever it's stationed and turned retrograde or went retrograde. So there is a lot surfacing right now for a lot of people. And this is leading up to this new moon on the 21st, happening in the sign of Aquarius. This new moon is squaring the nodal axis. The north node in Taurus conjunct Uranus there, who will still be retrograde and stationing as this new moon occurs, and the following day it will go direct. This new moon is also square the south node of Scorpio. So this symbolizes that this new moon is about needing to recover something. And to be able to recover something, we have to look at the node that this moon last was conjunct with, which was the south node of Scorpio. And by focusing on the new moon Aquarius dynamics in tandem with the square to the south node of Scorpio, we gain a fuller picture about what this new moon is all about. So we are all being called to go back and to look at our conditioning around our relationships and how we inwardly and outwardly relate to others, and to de-invest from areas of stagnation that perpetuate a karmic cycle for us that is really inducing resistance to evolution. As we go back and we observe and objectify our relational dynamics of where we've merged, where we haven't had discernment, and choosing partnerships or merging sources, whether they be financial or of a sexual or a familial, not familiar, but familial family nature. We create objective awareness so that way we can get to the root of where our conditioning stems from and why we made those choices that we made. For a lot of people, this is going to be looking at, trauma that's happened and their relational dynamics. It's Aquarius, and the need to observe to create the necessary detachment. So that way this Aquarius phenomenon doesn't persist, which that phenomenon is projecting the past onto the present moment. How many of us, I think it's a universal experience, have been confused about making a choice in regards to ourselves or to someone else because we have the tape of the old past replaying in our head and we're being triggered. And so there's a need to really come into objective awareness about all of these things and where they stem from. This new moon is also conjunct Pluto. It's in an out of sign conjunction, meaning that this new moon is in the sign of Aquarius, but Pluto's at 28 degrees Capricorn. So it's bringing in cardinal energy into these dynamics of the new moon, which cardinal energy is about starting something new, but it's also about a 2-step forward, 1-step back approach. So for many of us, we're wanting to live authentically. There's a sextile to Jupiter with this new moon. We're wanting to live authentically and honestly in our values that we're shaping and creating. But there's a need to look at where we've created dependencies on others, or others have created dependencies on ourselves, and where our value that we feel is stemming from those attachments. And to learn how to detach from the outcome of situations and to really look at where the psychology of that and the emotions that surface, pertain to in our past. This is also looking at where we have repressed doing things in relationships because the familiar feels like security, moon, inner security. And this is about needing to really penetrate and get to the bottom of what security is for you and how you inwardly relate to yourself. Through this objective awareness and looking at these really scorpionic dynamics of the South Node, just by doing that and unearthing that, you'll be able to transmute these prior dynamics that could be of a traumatic nature. And essentially it's helping you, the soul, on a core level to continue to individuate. It will then pull in the North Node in Taurus and create self-reliance. But it's also going to pull in that Uranus in Taurus, who's going to be stationing at the moment of this new moon. And it is going to create a radically altered sense of self-reliance and self-relatability. How you are inwardly relating to yourself is going to be radically shifted whenever you go back and you have the courage to look at your beliefs that you had about yourself, your self-judgments, and how that created distortions within relationships and how you inwardly related to yourself. This Jupiter that is sextiling this new moon is, being ruled by Mars, who's now direct in the sign of Gemini and is in a finger of God with the South Node of Scorpio, and Mercury now at this point in time during the new moon will be direct as well. And so from going back and looking at all of the prior dynamics and having an objective awareness about it, new choices will be able to be brought to light as a way to act on them that is rooted in authenticity and new beliefs about self. And this just perpetuates the radical change of self-development and our inner relatability. This is just, it's a powerful, powerful new moon. Also during this new moon, Ceres in the sign of Libra conjunct an asteroid Sophra sign that I love to work with. I've been researching it since 2019. There's not a lot of research on it, but they are going to be trine this new moon. So that speaks to being able to creatively actualize the dynamics that are coming up that are being worked on through going back and looking and creating the objective awareness. Ceres is where we are able to reclaim something that we've lost. And Sophra sign is the asteroid that is in a very close relationship to Ceres. If you look in your natal chart at either one of them, they will be always pretty close together. But Sophra sign is this asteroid that represents where we gain temperance or soundness of mind. It can also show us where patriarchal values have distorted how we go about gaining temperance. But when naturally expressed, it helps us be in neutrality and to gain the temperance that we seek, to live the path straddled in the gray, in between the black and the white, within the gray. Here, conjunct Ceres in the sign of Libra is about, through the recovery of how we inwardly and outwardly relate to others, we gain temperance or Sophra sign. And that is by being able to still outwardly relate to others without self-abandoning or taking on their values, remaining authentic to whom one is on an intrinsic level, by being able to meet your own needs and not creating situations of codependency. And so with this conversation trining the South Node, which is square to, trining the new moon, which is square to the South Node, we can see that we're looking at these types of dynamics and wanting to recover how we inwardly and outwardly relate to others in a brand new way through this objective awareness that is gained by only having the courage to look at our psychological and emotional dynamics. The following day, Uranus will go direct. And so this really symbolizes a time of stimulation within, where we can continue to work on these dynamics and recover where this comes from, where we have been conditioned to fall in line with social values and needs that have nothing to do with us, where we've created dependencies. And it shows us that this is a time now that once we gain that objective awareness about the prior dynamics, we are able now to implement authentically and fully the new values and to become extremely self-reliant. Meaning that with this new moon, and the moon being about our security, our inner security, through this, we gain inner security, which promotes deeper levels of self-reliance. And it also creates a situation where we're all able to be responsible with ourselves. For some of us, this is, going to help them further develop a relationship with source if that's what they're wanting to choose. One of the first things that I see with people who are wanting to know source, wanting to spiritualize, and for a lot of you, this may not be relatable, but for the few that it is, you're going to understand that one of the first hallmarks of seeing this shift happen of the ego and the soul and it not being separate is by gaining inner security. When we gain inner security, we can know the inner universe within. And so this is, to me, magical times. At the very least, this is clearing out trauma that has reared its ugly head time and time again. And it's about forgiveness of our prior choices. And now knowing that you aren't the same person who you once were, that's not hypocritical. That's called growth and evolution. And now you get to make new choices as to how to live your life authentically and to be in relationship with yourself and others on an authentic and deep level. So this is a great, great week to consciously work with all of these inner dynamics that are coming to the forefront. You know, during the new moon, Venus is still in mutual reception with Uranus, but Venus will be conjunct Saturn during this new moon, which really symbolizes to me that as we go back and we look at our emotional and psychological nature and the choices that we've made and our beliefs and our judgments about self, that we get to obliterate these structures within that are creating a resistance to our own evolutionary growth. And through that rebellion, through the understanding and the objective awareness that comes about by being willing to look at this, we get to create new structures, Saturn, that are in alignment with our individuation process, Aquarius, and how we inwardly relate to ourselves, Venus. So I hope you guys have a magical week. Happy new moon. Also, happy birthday. It's Aquarius season. The sun will move into Aquarius this week, right after the sun conjuncts Pluto, which the last time that happened was January 16th. So stuff can be coming up for people right now regarding this time last year. But yeah, if you want to know more about that, you can read the written report where I go into the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, the astrology of each one of those days, if you want to know more about the lead up to this new moon. I think that it's, for time's sake, I didn't want to go over every single thing, but if you are someone who's wanting to really consciously work with this energy, I would read the written report and you can see what, you know, relates to you or not. At the very least, you'll see it projected out into the community that you're in and people experiencing these kind of dynamics. Not everyone is going to experience this new moon in the way I'm talking about. It'll be more people who are sensitive, and if this is actively playing out in your own natal chart, which for most of us it is, there's so much going on with this new moon. So if you've got anything in the cardinal, fixed, or mutable, I mean, that's pretty much it. Everyone's going to be experience this on some level, either through projection or through their own inner relating. So take a look if that's your jam. And I will be doing a class over Pluto at the Magic Tree on Saturday, the 21st from 12:30 to 2 p.m. I'm going to be going, that's here in Oklahoma City. I'm going to be going over Pluto, which is the prior life core intentions of the soul, the Pluto polarity point, what the soul is trying to actualize, the moon, the personality that the soul has chosen in this lifetime, the South Node, how the prior egoic structure, was integrating what it was working on in its prior lifetime, and the North Node, the personality that the soul is moving towards, and the intersection of where the past and the future meet in the present when looking at all of that. This is something that you can apply to your own natal chart. I will use some of the people's natal charts that come in as a way to give examples, and this is something that you will definitely be able to utilize walking out of this class and put it to your own chart and to understand it. So I look forward to those of you who show up. And I think it would be, for those of you who are feeling the dynamics of this new moon and this shift, it would be a great class to go to. It would definitely help validate the things that you're experiencing and feeling. So I will see you all next week, and I hope you have a happy new moon. And again, happy birthday, Aquarius.